Hi everybody, it's Han, and today I will be making a guide on how to defeat Cygnus. For those who want to know as well, xBangherox made a very good guide on how to defeat Cygnus as well, or at least information about her. So you can check out his video and channel, I'll link it below. But today I'll be talking about how to defeat Cygnus, as in the full version of Cygnus, including the Cygnus Knight as well. So yeah, let's begin. Cygnus is considered as the second hardest boss in the game, not counting all the chaos bosses. She has 63 billion HP and she has resistance to all elements in the game, including physical, holy, ice, fire, lightning, dark and poison. She also grants a huge amount of EXP if you manage to take her down, and she has a few notable skills that we'll go through later in the video. One of the more efficient ways to fight Cygnus is to bind her at the start of the fight and damage her to around 40% of her health. This will allow your team and you to slowly wait for Cygnus to summon her knights while not needing to worry about not having enough damage to kill her later on. It is also recommended to use 2 binds, as this will allow your party to deal enough damage to her before she can cast Reflect or any other annoying spell that will stop you from attacking her. Do take note that bosses won't be affected by the same kind of bind in the period of 60 seconds. Now I'll go over Cygnus' skill set and their properties. The first and most infamous skill of Cygnus is her damage reflect. Cygnus' damage reflect is usually casted when Cygnus loses around 2% of her health and deals 50,000 damage to you if you hit it during the period of her reflection. The cast animation is a blue shield ring that is quite obvious and can be seen. Cygnus' damage reflect lasts around 15 to 17 seconds and will be recasted every 70 seconds, so it is recommended to magic crash or bind her before she can damage reflect again. The second skill that I like to talk about Cygnus is her Dark Genesis. Cygnus' Dark Genesis is a map area attack that randomly appears when it is casted by Cygnus. The damage of Genesis is always 100% to your max HP, so it will always result in an instant kill to you. Unless there is damage reduction skill that is present, for example Zero's Link skill or Paladin's Parashot Guard, you will always die from Genesis Blast. However, do take note that the smaller beams of Genesis only actually deals 90% of the damage to you, so you won't always die if you're hugged to the small beam. So if there's nowhere left to run, just run to the smaller beams and hope that you don't die. The skill that I like to touch upon of Cygnus' skill set is the Pig Transformation skill. Cygnus has a skill that will instantly transform you into a pig with a cast animation of red/ring shields around. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You become a pig. But do be careful of Genesis during this period because you cannot flash jump or teleport during this time, and you move really slow. The fourth skill that I would like to talk about in Cygnus' skill set, well, I say skills is because all of these are her magic attack skills. Cygnus has around 3 magical attack spells that all does quite a high number of attack and damage to you. The first attack we would like to talk about here is the Tornado or Cyclone attack. In this attack, Cygnus will cast Tornado from the ground and sends your character flying and rendering you immobile for a period of time. This attack will continue doing damage over time to your character. A note about this spell is that it can be dispelled by a bishop. The second magical spell of Cygnus I would like to talk about is the Fireball. This dark fireball has a death face on it and moves very slow, but it deals a very high amount of damage. It will deal around 50% of your character's HP, so try to avoid it at all costs. Third attack of Cygnus is the Phoenix Fire. These attacks are not as high damage as the dark fireball as mentioned just now, but they will still deal a decent amount of damage, around 30% of HP damage, so try to avoid that if possible. And lastly, Cygnus' final skill is to summon smaller minions or Cygnus Knights or the Shinsoo, the Divine Bird, to aid her in battle. The Cygnus Knights and Shinsoo each have their own unique ability and skill set, which I will now go over one by one. The first summon I would like to go over is Mihile. I would like to talk about Mihile first is because he is by far the strongest knight of Cygnus and summon among all. This is due to the ability of him able to use damage reflect. Mihile will cast damage reflect when his HP is down by 5%, which is around 95% HP. Mihile has 6.3 billion HP. Take note that his damage reflect is not as strong as Cygnus and will only deal around 30,000 damage and lasts only for 10 seconds. Duration of the recast is same as Cygnus, that is 70 seconds. Mihile will also be able to cast Rage to increase everybody's attack. Mobs, not yours, attack. He's also weak to lightning. The second summon of Cygnus is Oz. Oz has the same amount of HP as Mihile and has no resistance as well. However, Oz deserves a special mention just because of her seal or lock skill. Oz's seal can be one of the most annoying and fatal skill in the fight. This is because if you try to use all kill potion when you're sealed, all your other potion will go on cooldown as well, so this will cause a lot of headaches and trouble. It is highly recommended to get a bishop just for the dispel. Also, using Hero's Will can be a good idea when you're sealed because Cygnus doesn't have seduce, so just use Hero's Will. She's also very annoying because of her teleportation, so it is recommended to have a bind just for her. Third knight to mention is Eckhart. Eckhart is the Night Walker and possesses the same amount of HP as the rest of the knight. He is weak to holy attack. Eckhart is very dangerous because of the skill Shadow Web. Shadow Web is used by Eckhart to bind or stun your character for a long duration of time, around 15 seconds. This can be very fatal if your class has short HP or you get Genesis during the period of your stun. However, Shadow Web can be dispelled by Bishop as well, so Bishop is very important in the fight. Also, take note that you can use Potion while you are binded. The fourth to get mentioned is Irena. Irena has the same amount of HP as the rest of the knight and is weak to fire. Irena is not a very strong knight compared to the other three as mentioned just now. However, she can be very annoying to deal with because of her Windwalk skill. Windwalk will cause all of your attack to miss her until the duration is over, so you will not be able to kill her when she's Windwalking. Overall, she's not a very tough knight to deal with, just very annoying. The last knight to be mentioned is Hawkeye. Hawkeye is the final knight to get mentioned because he is the weakest among all the knights. Even though he has the same amount of HP as the other knight, he is weak to poison. Unlike other knights, Hawkeye don't have a game-breaking skill compared to the other knight. All of his skill is just a damage-based attack that deals moderate amount of damage. Hawkeye has no special attribute whatsoever. Because of this, there's nothing to take note for him. The final summon to be talked about is Shinsoo, the Divine Bird. Shinsoo, aka the Divine Bird, is summoned by Cygnus during battle. She is not spawned with the knights together. When Shinsoo is summoned, Shinsoo will create a barrier shield around Cygnus. The barrier will cause all of your attack to miss on Cygnus. This makes it so that you'll need to take down Shinsoo before proceeding to Cygnus. Do take note that Shinsoo will heal Cygnus over time, so don't take too long to kill Shinsoo. Also, multiple Shinsoo might be summoned together when fighting Cygnus, so don't be surprised if you see multiple Shinsoo. So yeah, that's all for this video or video guide. If you have any question or inquiry, please leave a comment below. I'll try to respond to it as best as I can. Shoutouts to Angel, Karl, Guan, Jun, and JH for taking me to the Cygnus run, which allowed me to create this guide. So yeah, I hope this guide will be able to help you in your Cygnus run. So have fun killing the Empress and getting them drops. And yeah, that's it. This is Hans signing off. See you guys.